So here's what we've changed. Instead of, I'm gonna go into therapy and I'm gonna do exposure treatment to my phobia or whatever, that's stepping forward. Let me get my head straight first. Once I got my head straight, this is my objective, this is my stance about it, now I'm gonna step forward. And that's, I am going to tell you, it's gonna change a lot for you if you can do that. So we are stepping forward with attitude. Let me tell you about two major researchers in the field of psychology that are doing some very interesting things that we can emphasize here. One is Dr. Barbara Fredrickson, who's at the University of North Carolina. She's a positive psychologist. She's been researching meditation, happiness, all of this work for a good long while. Really competent researcher. Here's what she's finding out from the research. If we can pull up, here's the conclusion, if we can pull up a positive emotion on the heels of a negative emotion, right? So my fear comes up. If I can now pull up a positive emotion in the face of, in the heels of the negative emotion, that in itself will dismantle a mental and physical preparation to run. Remember, by default, the working memory in a threatening situation is going to operate as what you've been telling it in the past, which is, don't let this happen, get out of here. So we're going to purposely pull up an emotion that is counter to that. However, the emotion, behind the emotion is a positive meaning. I know why I'm going forward here. I have an outcome picture that's important to me. I want that. This is going to help me get stronger. Now, with that meaning, you pull up that positive emotion, you keep going. The only translation I would make about this is to say, instead of saying positive emotion, talk about it as a positive attitude. I'm determined. I'm committed. I'm going to do this no matter what. Now, once you get that straight, Fredrickson would say, step forward voluntarily because you know why, because you can see it in the broader context. So what I've been saying all along, right? It's not just me in this moment. It's me in what I'm seeking in my life and this moment. Now, your intentions transform your experience. I want this, right? And then we have Les Greenberg, one of the most decorated psychologists today, and he uses this word of transforming, right? Transform the fear reaction. So let yourself become afraid, and then call up, you see the commonality here? And then call up a competing emotion. And here's what he says, not by thinking, not by reasoning through everything, not by allowing the feeling that might be seen in a kind of mindfulness stance, not by letting go of the feeling, not by facing it, not by exposure or extinction or habituation, but activating a competing emotion that expresses a competing point of view. Get our principles up here, bring it down to the moment, and access it in the moment. So we're trying to access that willingness. I want this, to embrace this uncertainty and distress simultaneously while I'm afraid. It's crazy stuff, but the data is pretty strong around this being the right direction for us. We have to have your resistance show up. You have to have it show up because you gotta transform it over time. So we have an expression in neurology. You have to activate to generate. I have to activate the neurocircuitry of fear to generate a new pathway. If I don't get a hold of my circuitry of fear, I can't make that change. So part of the reason why we try to help people learn to peel away some of those safety crutches, including benzodiazepine medications and driving the back roads and so forth, is so that we can fully activate the fear response. Then there is a law called Hebe's law, because Dr. Hebe invented it. And what he said was neurons that fire together wire together. My fear comes up, and I'm going to fire off a cognition of, this is hard, I don't like this, and this is what I want to be experiencing right now. We're firing those up together, and over time, repetition, I'm trying to convince you, if you will stick with it, you will have that transformation. That's what we're looking for.